why you cut me too deep? I think I'm dying here, man.
Welcome to the 3B Video Deep Cut Podcast.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes. It was fun.
Aw, yeah, it's that time again for another bi-weekly podcast with your hosts, Rotten Roger DeMarco and...
I just don't want to become the devil's bitch. I want to be evil. Evil Dead 2013. I've always been evil. I've always been the caretaker here, sir.
It's true. You've always been here. You've always been in the back room. But here we are, almost done with the Evil Dead franchise. We got another podcast coming up in 2 weeks where we will be covering the Evil Dead game. But finally, we are here to the Evil Dead remake, reboot, reimagining, whatever it is you officially want to call it. It's another entry in the Evil Dead franchise, and it's awesome. So I'm ready.
I just watched the Bruce Campbell one again. You telling me they remade Evil Dead?
Oh, shit. Completely unprepared.
No. Yes, 2013. The year we got this Evil Dead remake. I guess that's how you differentiate this one is we have the Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, a.k.a. Medieval Dead, and then we just have Evil Dead. Mm-hmm. They took out the. Yeah. So
minus the.
Yeah. Takes it into a whole different direction.
Easier to find on streaming services, right? Because at that point in time, it was alphabetical. So if you put in front of it,
my God damn it,
you're all the way down at the tail end of the alphabet, man.
Finding the wrong one. But I remember when this movie came out in 2013. I actually got to the theater to see it. I was, I would say, lukewarm hyped. I wasn't like, I've got to be first show of the day, Freddy versus Jason style hype, but I was like, I think I'll go see that when it comes out. And I'm pretty sure this is the arms folded era for you, Raj.
It sure was. So I'm the exact opposite. I was beyond hyped.
Really?
Evil Dead, The Evil Dead is one of my favorite movies of all time. So I was so ready for a very dark, gnarly Evil Dead movie.
You're a complicated guy.
Get to the theater, and I don't know whether it was because we saw it at a midnight screening the day before it opened. We had to drive a long ways away because we knew some people who owned a theater, like a small mom and pop theater, like 80 miles away or something. So we drove to this theater. They unlocked the door, let us in, we get popcorn, they fucking juice it up, we ready to go, let's watch this movie. And I just don't know if it was the combination of the long drive, the late night.
I've heard this.
The people.
I've heard this reasoning before.
Yeah, the people who ran the theater. I'm not sure if I just wasn't vibing, right? And so the whole movie, I was grumpy Gus, arms folded, Raj, and then you get home about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I just was like, man, I need to watch The Evil Dead, because that sucked. That sucked so bad. And then when it came out on Blu-ray and DVD, I bought it day one. And then my opinion completely changed immediately. So I don't know.
I think we just found the root cause for why we occasionally will go down that route of being like, did you see that? Like, yep. Didn't like it one bit. And like, you said, we're going to buy it? And like, yeah. Because my opinion might change. It changed at one time. Maybe it'll happen again. Will lightning strike twice? Will I like The Fog the second time around seeing the remake?
No.
But you had that hope. That was your hope. That I feel like I've figured out a bit more into the psyche of Raj, and that's the hope every time is he hopes he has the Evil Dead experience again with something he doesn't like.
Where something will, whether, I'm in a different place in my life or whatever, it will connect with me a little bit better. And Evil Dead definitely did that for me. Once I got it home and was in my own house and had the lights down and had my own snacks and just really got to absorb the movie, I'm like, oh, the Delta, the cabin looks great. The Deadites are fucking incredible. Like, The gore is so good in this movie. I don't know. I have no answer for why I didn't enjoy it the first time around. But this happens to be a movie that I watch at least once a month. At least.
Oh, jeez. I don't get to it too often. I don't know for whatever reason is. The wife's not a huge Evil Dead franchise fan, so getting one of these movies on, I kind of have to do it, and already have started it before she's conscious or aware of it being on. So then she can't really. She would feel bad if I'm like 20, 30 minutes in, she's like, can we watch something else? She'd be like, you know what, just go ahead and finish it, but don't be pulling this shit again anytime soon. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but it's just...
It's your namesake, too. That's what's sad.
Hey, you know, different strokes, different folks. She doesn't hate the franchise, but I don't think she's ever in the mood to be like, you know what, throw that on. And maybe it's because this one's... It's true to the sense of being a very tangibly, like, visceral film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was going to say, going back to, like, different strokes for different folks, your wife and my wife both don't care at all, one fucking iota, for Halloween films, Michael Myers. And I think you and I, especially over the past, like, 5-6 years, have kind of, like, because we did the Halloween marathon that one year on Halloween, like,
I don't remember what year that was, but man, what a benchmark, like, weird thing we decided to do. This is all before the 2018 movie came out. So yeah, one Halloween, on top of doing regular trick-or-treating duties, Raj and I both in separate locations were like, let's watch every movie in the franchise, including Halloween 6, twice. It was 2018 because Halloween 2018 was in theaters, so that's why we weren't able to watch it at home. So I remember that vividly, and I gained about 19 pounds overnight because I was like, not only am I going to watch every Halloween movie, I'm only going to eat candy and drink soda. No real food that entire day. And boy, the next morning at work, I wanted to die. You can tell, like, for a while at least, I know you had the snaps saved that we were sending back and forth. And you just can see the progression of the madness as the night went on. Like, we begin that night much like Evil Dead, like, yeah, let's help our friend get off heroin. By the end of the night, we're like, I'm cutting my arm off with with this saw here.
That's only because I had to end the night with fucking Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, but...
Oh, yeah, that was the worst. Actually, no, didn't you save Halloween 6, the producer's cut, and ended with that?
Oh, that's right, that's true. That's how I had to do it. So, but by that time, I was completely fried.
John, you had a better run, because I tried to end with Halloween 2, H2, and I watched Halloween, The Curse of, just back-to-back.
Ugh. Yeah, and when it ended, there were, like, birds chirping, like the sun was getting ready to come up.
It was clearly like 4 a.m.
Yeah, and I had to be at work at 6, and I was like, I fucked up big time.
Oh, you don't take my route. I don't work like 2 days before Halloween, and I don't work at least 2 or 3 days post.
They wouldn't let me. They threatened to fire me if I missed the day after Halloween. So
they know.
Fuck them.
But either way, back to Evil Dead 2013. Do you want to, I know the plot synopsis is fairly similar to The Evil Dead. There's a little bit of a tweak to it. So you want to let the good folks out there in internet land know what it is, and we'll get into it?
Oh, yeah, I say this is where Evil Dead succeeded, where the Nightmare on Elm Street remake failed. Like, they made a different enough movie in the right ways and kept some nod type things fairly deep cut, wink nod, and subtext kind of things. But made a lot of different changes. I was like, oh man, if Nightmare did this, it would have been gangbusters, which is funny because this, I think, did do well and still didn't get any other sequels to it. But this is a story of a group of friends that all go out to a old family cabin to help somebody get off heroin, and slowly, one by one, evil starts taking them because somebody just has to read a goddamn book that is wrapped up in a trash bag and barbed wire. They're like, some things just should be left alone. And yeah, this is the legit version of the movie Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I tried to burn it. It just won't burn. Which if you can't burn it, couldn't you like dig like a 6-foot hole, throw it in there, and cover it in Quickcrete? Or do you think it would float to the top? Like,
I mean, you can't burn it. Why don't you just rip it into small pieces? Just put it through a shredder. Just sit there and just shred it bit by bit by bit by bit. Be that dude from the Langoliers and just rip pages and make orgasm faces the whole time you're ripping the pages out of the book. There's other ways to do things other than burning things.
That's true, but nobody seems to explore them in this movie. And dude, I just gotta say, first of all, shout out to the homie Lou Taylor Pucci, who kind of takes over our Scotty role essentially. Because
I never remember his actual name. Because after we met him, I'm like, he's just Lou Taylor Pucci and everything. Yeah. So I'm like, I still don't remember what his name is. Is it Eric?
I also forget. I think Eric's the lead guy, but Lou Taylor Pucci, man, he gets put through the goddamn ringer in this movie, and where it's different from The Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2 is in both of those movies, even though the first The Evil Dead is more of a horror movie, some of the violence is still like right there on the edge of Three Stooges. You know what I mean? Where like you can almost be like, haha, that's hilarious.
The torture in the first movie is all psychological. The physical damage in the first movie is Bruce Campbell can't get a flimsy ass Target bought bookshelf off of him. In 2013, Lou Taylor Pucci is not really psychologically abused, but goddamn, is he probably the most physically abused person? He's right there with the chick from Austin Powers. Why won't you die?
Yeah, no, he is getting just fucking shredded nonstop through this movie, which that's the other thing about this movie that I tend to really, really lean into, which again, when I saw it in theaters, just wasn't vibing. But just the overall tone of this film, it's so heavy, like a soggy blanket. It's so hard to explain, you know what I mean? Like
soggy blanket, that sounds way worse.
Yeah, the atmosphere in this movie, and there's a perfect moment, which I believe they used in the trailer, if I'm not mistaken, where the lead says, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. And Lou Taylor Pucci goes, is it? Because I don't know if you noticed, but ever since we got here, things have been getting worse.
I feel like that was in the trailer. That was in at least one of them.
That's like the whole point of this movie is it has a similar tone to like Pet Sematary. Like, at the beginning of Pet Sematary, when they get there, it should be happy, but it's not. Like right from jump, like when Ellie gets hurt on the tire swing, and it just progressively gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And that's how this Evil Dead is for me. It's like the whole time you're watching it, you just kind of feel like you should scoot back in your seat just a little bit
something's
more.
Coming. Mm-hmm. Although, and part of that is just the set design and just the environment in which they're shooting in.
Flawless.
Which looks very, very similar to like the natural aesthetic that's in the Ash vs. Evil Dead series. I, on the other hand, love it. Like it's kind of rainy and misty where they are, and beautiful, just green trees and nature all around. I'm like, I dig that, but I can sense, and other folks probably like, there's a dark, ominous like presence to this place, and I don't know why these group of people all decide this cabin is where they should go. I guess they make it's their family cabin. Yeah, they make that excuse that it's the family cabin. I was like, I'm like, when was the last time they were there? This thing looks about as decrepit as the original Evil Dead cabin, but group of friends all go there because our not lead, Mia, has a bit of a drug problem, and she's going to go ahead and go through I guess the 3 days, like the first 3 days are the worst, or week or whatever. I don't know how long they plan on staying there, but they're like,
right. I saw Walk the Line. I thought it took forever.
I saw the episode of My Name Is Earl. I think it's 3 days. If you get past the first 3 days, then it's all downhill. So
it's all gravy from there.
Yeah.
Kicking heroin.
So she's gonna go cold turkey. She brings the last bit of her heroin with her. They dump it in a well, and they're like, all right,
which is their water supply. Let me just. That's the whole movie.
I don't know.
They're all fucking high on heroin.
So it's cabin fever then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if heroin would increase or decrease the quality of the water if it's coming from that well. They're like, yeah, well, let's hold up in this cabin while she goes cold turkey off heroin. That should be a great idea. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Imagine a better week. I'm just looking forward to a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, you're about to get it too. Because coincidentally, before our group of 20-somethings arrive at this cabin, we get the little prologue of a bunch of locals, I would assume.
Straight out of the hills have eyes.
Yeah.
And they're the good guys. That's the flip.
Yeah, killing a possessed deadite in the basement of this cabin. And so obviously it's like they used the book to try to expel the Kandarian demon from the girl in the opening sequence. But when it fails, they just bail and they leave all that crap in the basement.
I don't know. Was that the possessed girl, or was that the group of locals that had all the dead animals hanging in the basement?
I think it was probably the locals. I think there was probably something in the book
needed this aesthetic
about animal sacrifice.
Like they set out like for the locals to start wrangling cats and dogs, and like we got to hang 33 of them in the basement, all in a spiral pattern in order to do this right. And worst case scenario, we're gonna burn her.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Which I saw that coming the first time that I saw the movie. I was like, she is 100% a deadite, because that's just kind of the motif of the films. But what I wasn't prepared for was the new look of the deadites. And if you listener have listened to Evil and I long enough, or if you're new, we have a thing about the look of Reagan in The Exorcist. And basically every single deadite in this film kind of has that look.
A little bit. I think Jane Levy has the best look of it, which one of the things that irritated me is that's in the trailer, her doing the we're gonna get you, not another peep line, not really in like the regular cut of the movie.
Right, it's in the 2-disc special edition cut, which our Techman remix actually owns. It bumps the runtime up like 7 minutes or more, but that sequence is in there.
It irritates because I just have a Target brand steelbook that came out.
I don't even have the steelbook. I just have the it's got a slip cover, but like the first fucking cardboard. The first edition of the Blu-ray that came out. So eventually I'll buy that 2-disc because I want all the deleted scenes. I want that extended cut for sure.
I want things. Give me more things.
Yeah, and so you already brought it up, but I have seen way worse dead animal props. Let me just say that. Some pretty good dead animals in this movie. Yeah,
pretty good. I mean, that's probably one of the odd driving factors of it not getting played more here is, you don't see anything. We do get a dog getting just beat to death, which has the weirdest goddamn dog name I've ever heard in my life. Grandpa? Like, what the fuck?
You're gonna wake up Grandpa!
I was like, who the hell decided on this? And they're like, is this dog just living there on his own? Did they forget the dog? Did the dog come with David?
Yeah, the brother brought the dog.
Which, that actor's name, I love his real name. Shiloh Fernandez. Definitely sounds like some guy's trying to hook up with your wife while he's repairing the cable kind of thing. But what was your thoughts I know this is arms folded Raj, but what was your thoughts when you first saw the crew, the cast and everything, and then you saw this guy David come out, which I don't know if you got the impression as I was like, oh, this is probably supposed to be our Ash. I'm not sure if I'm sold on him, like from first appearance. He did grow on me, and they totally pull a complete swerve bro with the end, which is I actually like
the old okie doke.
Yeah,
It's a really the structure of this movie phenomenal. Let me just say that there is one thing that I would change, which I will get to after I answer your question.
Yeah.
As far as David goes, right? I'll say this: a good leading man, handsome, strong, not a bad actor. But in all honesty, I just was assuming that all of these people were meat for the beast. Like I was like, no one's making it, because I had that in the back of my head about how the original The Evil Dead ends. And we're both in agreement, and I'm sure that the audience is in agreement, that fucking Ash dies at the end of the original film. So I was assuming that they were all toast, and this is what I would change. So that's a perfect segue into that, is at the end when he goes full-blown Sam Raimi mode and makes this defibrillator, and then he sticks her with it, and she wakes up and she's alive. Right, and everything's okay. He goes back into the house, into the cabin, and when I was watching it in theaters, I was like, she is not normal. Like, she's not back to normal.
Trust no one.
Like, yeah, and so I just had this thought that he was going to go in, and the Lou Taylor Pucci Deadite was going to attack him, and he was going to try to get out. And when he opened the door, she would be a Deadite too, and like the cabin is burning. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was like, oh, he thought he saved her, and that was going to be a swerve bro moment. But that's not how it happened. But I was assuming that everyone was going to die right there at the end. So,
see, I would have my flip would have been I would have had David go out on the shield moment, but I would have had Lou Taylor Pucci clinging to life and survive with Mia. like he doesn't do anything the whole finale fight. Like leave the whole finale fight as it is. Like have her just assume he's possibly dead, but she just rolls up to his fucking beat the shit almost corpse after she's defeated evil, and he's like, I'm not dead yet. I'm not dead yet.
I don't want to get sick. I don't want any of us to get sick. But you two fucking fuckers insist on touching her.
That guy does deserve to die if he was in any horror movie he's in. But I don't know how. I couldn't give it to anybody else. I had to give the brown panty to Lou Taylor Pucci because he's just
that's 100%.
He's so good. I'm not even sure he's dead when he is dead. Like when he just lets him kind of float away in the water. I'm like, we're not sure he's dead. Like I thought he was already dead 3 times.
But he comes back as a Deadite at the end, so officially.
Or not. I'm not sure. He might just, just sleep in his eyes or something. That's what heroin water does to your face.
Speaking of Deadites, though, I know we had this conversation when we talked about Evil Dead 2, and how, you thought that the Henrietta battle at the end was enough, and that the big, like, meatball that comes through the front door.
The face of evil. Yeah,
the face of evil. So which do you prefer? Do you prefer that meatball at the end of Evil Dead 2, or do you prefer the big baddie, quotations, at the end of the Evil Dead remake? Because the one that comes out of the ground with the blood and is, all over Mia.
Okay. Okay. I got this. I totally got this. The precursor, like the wrestling entrance of the big baddie for 2013 is fantastic. It is like when the rain of blood begins. It's like a stomach drop, like, fuck. There's
it's something else.
It's coming. And then kind of the confrontation with this being is fairly easy to defeat. Just a chainsaw straight to the face kind of thing.
Crawling it crawls the whole time.
This has power, but doesn't have much power. And the intro to Evil Dead 2's big evil tree face is funny, but I would say probably has more of a fighting chance than the 2013 one did, even though it doesn't do anything either. But at least this thing tips the vehicle over on Mia, and she has to rip her own hand off, which this movie also has a good amount, I would say, of jackass quality cringe scenes in it.
Gore? Oh yeah.
No, just stuff. It's like, where you gonna? Where
you go?
It's like watching dude get his tooth ripped out from a fucking Ferrari in Jackass. Like we have Mia running her tongue on a box cutter.
That's real good.
We got of course, we got the arm getting sawed off with with like the
turkey carver or whatever.
Yeah, the ham carver, which I'm like, bullshit. My fucking electric chainsaw won't even cut shrubbery outside. Like, that's this little fucking Sears bought meat cutter is gonna go through bone and muscle.
So which one do you think is worse? Because there's so many good cringe-inducing moments. For me, it's got to be Lou Taylor Pucci getting the fucking hypodermic needle, like pulling it out of his eye. Fuck you.
That's bad. Her ripping her own hand off is pretty rough, just because of how they have the camera angle on it. But oddly enough, and I even had to make this comment because Colt 45 actually covered this a few months back, and they discussed it in there, and I had to message Beat 'em down and say that hurt me so much it still hurts me. But it's when and it's the pooch. It's when Poochie takes that full flat back on the edge of that toilet.
Yeah. Oh, it's good.
And I'm like, damn. I can feel that in my bones. Mm-hmm. Like, just kill me there. Like,
yeah.
I might welcome getting stabbed in the eye just to have pain somewhere else, because I can feel that toilet shot. That is the worst goddamn hit in the movie for me. Everything is bad. They're all bad, but the one that hurts me the most is hitting that toilet.
Some True Lies shit. That fucking bathroom showdown.
That's burn notice logic. I always have a fight in the bathroom. There's lots of hard surfaces, and porcelain is no goddamn joke. It is very hard. It is very unforgiving, and when it is cut, it is sharper than glass.
Oh yeah. Lots of downsides to fighting in a basement. Number one being you're fighting in a fucking basement. So, yeah, and oddly enough, that's another one of the things that I wanted to talk about is the possession aspect in this film. Like, obviously, all the Evil Dead films, you risk becoming host to a Kandarian demon, but in this movie, the way that they approach it, it's almost like you are dying. Like, it's not like you get sick and you go to sleep like Linda in the first movie. You know, she gets stabbed, she goes, takes a nap, and gets possessed or whatever.
They cover all avenues, really. Like, they have the you die, you turn. If you're getting puked on by someone that has it, you turn.
Mm-hmm. But that's that one specifically. She runs into the bathroom to get that needle, and it's like, you know, she's moving. She's in motion. And it just stops her.
Yeah.
That is so fucking scary to me. Like, every time I watch that sequence, you can see it in her eyes that she knows something's wrong. She starts to cry. She drops the thing. She pisses herself. And then she's a fucking demon. Like, boom. And then the whole time when Lou Taylor Pucci goes in to check on her, you're like, it ain't gonna go well for you, dude.
Run, Lou, run. Which is funny that Lou gets the brown panty when all this is pretty much his fault also.
It really is.
Because he finds the Book of the Dead, like I said, wrapped in a trash bag, covered in barbed wire, and of course dude has to find cutters to cut the barbed wire off, pull it out, and then start reading the goddamn thing. There ever a book you're like, don't read, it's this movie's Necronomicon.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't just cut it open and fucking read it, because it's all scribbled out. So he's got to get a piece of paper and do that old school, like, detective, business. So he goes through a lot just to be able to read it.
This poor man just needs a smartphone or something. Like,
Yeah.
that is desperate. I mean, I know he's like a teacher, but that is boredom to the 10th power. And you're like, I gotta know what's. I mean, there's nothing else to do but hang out with this person coming down off heroin. I need to know what's in this book.
You could go for a walk, something. But I think for you and I, having to give Lou Taylor Pucci the Brown Panty Award is because he kind of hits all those criteria you and I really like of the everyman.
Yeah, when everyone's introduced, he's the one I'm like, that's the Ash. He's the unassuming guy, exactly how he was in the first movie. I'm like, that's my Ash. Not this David guy is too fucking chiseled and too good looking. Like, give me this Eric guy. He fits the mold.
Yeah, because David is like wicked chiseled, and he's there on a mission. He's going to save his sister at all costs type of deal. And you got Lou Taylor Pucci, who's like, we've tried this before. I'm annoyed. I don't like you. He just kind of seems like the guy that you and I would root for in any situation. Like the guy who's just like, you know what? Like,
and his wardrobe, like he feels like he could have fit in the original Evil Dead or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like he's got, he has the most timeless look of anyone in the movie.
Plaid, man, he's rocking Scotty's gear, but
and like long hair, a beard, like these big rimmed glasses. Like you couldn't narrow down what era he is living in.
The cool thing about this movie, which we kind of went a little hard when we were talking about the Elm Streets reboot, how a lot of the stuff that was done for that movie seemed to be shoehorned sequences that were specifically for the trailer, right? With this movie, it doesn't feel like it has trailer moments, with the exception of that sequence where, not another peep, time to go to sleep.
Yeah, the basement trapdoor.
Yeah, that's very, it's integral to the film, but it's a very, eye-catching trailer moment to make you go, aha, remember the original. This movie, we do have kind of the tree rape. It's different, very different. It's not like it's holding her down and raping her. I guess it's holding her up and raping her, so it's different, But
in the first one it comes off more as rape, and this one it comes off like a 70-30, like rape and like
possession.
Yeah, taking over the body of, or infecting, however you want to slice it. Which Jane Levy, I totally dig her in this movie. I only knew her before this. I knew her from a TV show called Suburgatory, which I think probably lasted the whole season or two it was on. And
she's the lead from Don't Breathe, right?
Yeah, the first Don't Breathe. It's the only thing I've ever seen her in. And I know there's, as of this recording time, she is not officially in the Evil Dead the game, but man, that's all I see is people going, "Where's Mia? Where's Mia? Where's Mia?" I'm like, forget maybe anything from this movie. Give me fucking Lou Taylor Pucci and Mia, but
all day, and make it so it's like impossible to kill Lou Taylor Pucci.
Absolutely. Oh, Jane Levy, does a great job as being a lead, and then she totally becomes our first victim / possessed demon, and then she goes full circle. And I was not expecting her to die, get resurrected, and then she's the last one standing. I was like, that is a better way of doing something different. Like, you could have done the same thing like they tried to do on that Elm Street remake of like, let's just have a Nancy, and Nancy will be the last one to survive. We'll just swap up a little bit here and there. They're like, nah, fuck it, we ain't got an Ash. We don't need an Ash. We'll just have a female do it.
Yeah. And this is Fede Alvarez, right? So Fede went on to do, tons of great stuff, including Don't Breathe. But there's something about this movie that's so, it's so violent, but it's so entertaining. But, it walks this weird line, kind of like the rest of the franchise, I suppose, where, there are sequences that absolutely terrify me. And then there are moments where I'm absolutely laughing and having a good time. But at the whole time, I'm still kind of white-knuckled. It's a really weird tone to describe. And
perfect example is dude's girlfriend cutting her arm off with that what the fuck is that thing? Just a turkey cutter?
That's what I would call it. It's a turkey carver.
That little electric turkey carver. Because she just has an arm that's infected. You can hear her like inner monologue. I mean, not literally, but you can feel, you can know what the conversation is in her head, being like, I got this cleaver thing, I should cut my arm off. And we have possessed Mia going, don't cut it off. Mm-hmm. And you're not sure if she's like just fucking with her or like she really doesn't want her to cut it off. And then, she starts cutting it off. And then we have a funny kind of line where she's like, I feel better, as it's hanging on by a fucking tendon. Mm-hmm. And then snaps and falls. Like, horrible, gross, and kind of funny. And it's also, it has a great balance of CG where it works and a lot of practical stuff there. So, which always works. So that's, I think, why it has that good blend that isn't quite working in the Nightmare remake. We don't have in Evil Dead, we do not have the wall scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's nothing CGI standout that's like, well, that's just not going to age. That's what I was going to bring up is, and you already said it, it's a perfect blend of CGI and practical. It walks the fine line. Look, CGI blood, I'm always going to kind of have a problem with, which is the only real CGI in this sequence is a little bit of CGI blood spilling from her, but it doesn't look so bad as to take you out of it. It just looks CGI enough for you to go, that is not practical, but
it's parsley on the plate. It's not the steak itself.
Yeah. And boy, that whole sequence, which I got to bring this up because every time we see this in a movie, my wife gets irate. She's always like, that's not how nail guns work, because it has to have compressed air attached to it. And all these nail guns in movies, people are just like running around shooting, and that's not how it works. I've yet to see a nail gun that works like that.
I mean, am I doing the Lethal Weapon 2 logic? Like it worked there. That's where I saw it done first.
It's got to have air. I mean, you have to have compressed air to shoot a nail through something, let alone shoot it through the air fucking 50 feet into someone's hand or whatever.
I mean, if Adam Green can make a gas-powered belt sander, I don't know why we can't make like a gas-powered like nail projectile or...
I suppose, yeah. There's the logic, Mrs. DeMarco, if you're listening. But
I'm going to be looking this up when we're done recording. Like, this has to somehow exist. Like a non-air compression nail gun. It has to be out there. We are clearly not handymen. We are not handymen, Earl. But I will figure this out.
All right. Well, I'll put you on the case.
I will figure it out.
But despite that, technically not being possible, what a weapon. For real, dude. Like, the threat of that nail gun is awesome. And I also like when David gets shot and is just like, get the gun away from her. Like, bro, you just got fucking shot. And you're just like, he's reacting like that dude from Hard Ticket to Hawaii, like getting shot right in the heart and being like, I've been better, but I'll live. Like, no. Yeah,
I don't know how much worse you could get, but all right.
You got shot in the heart with a fucking shotgun, and you're like, I've been better. I'm all right, though. You're looking right now, aren't you?
Yes, we have the Hilt 274638 GX120 gas actuated, ACTUATD, actuated. Fully automatic fastening nail gun package.
Okay. Shit, well, I stand corrected.
Gas powered. This thing is cordless. $229.
All right, let's buy one.
We can get this shit from Home Depot today.
And go shoot at ballistic gel dummies.
Some of these are going up to like almost $600 nail guns. Some are low, like about $60 to $100. I'm like, those are probably the bullshit ones that she's thinking of. But like a $700 nail. This thing looks huge.
Some Patrick Bateman shit.
This one here for $230. It's got like a magazine on it.
Oh yeah, they should.
It's got a full magazine. Like it's the Mac-10 of nail guns.
Drive by, which that Deadite straight up uses this nail gun like a Mac-11, just round after round into poor Lou Taylor Pucci.
I felt like our buddy when we were playing the game. Going, oh, he's dead. You can stop now. Just keeps firing into him. Yeah, you may not feel any worse for a guy than you feel for Lou Taylor Pucci in this movie. The abuse this man takes, it is ungodly. Like I said, not psychological. All that lands on David, but man, does Eric to get the brunt end of all the physical abuse. David just has to deal with like, you're not really my sister right now. I'm still gonna bury you alive.
Which, let me just say, out of all the things that happen in this movie, the scary stuff, the gory stuff, to me, which this used to be my desktop background, probably the scariest part in this movie for me is when he's burying her, and then it cuts back to her, and she's in the bag.
David?
And her eyes are open, and she's like smiling.
What are you doing?
No, not when she's normal, when she's possessed, and she's like smiling at him.
Oh.
And she's like, whatever she says about like being in hell or whatever, like... the look on her face, dude, that is absolute pure nightmare fuel for me. And I think I've told you, maybe on a podcast,
somewhere,
maybe not, that I've got a real problem with dead bodies with their eyes open.
Yeah,
because I've seen a few, and that is something.
It's not how it happens in the movies. They don't have the control to close the eyes. The eyes stay open, and the muscles in the jaw go slack, so no one has a closed mouth and closed eyes.
And eyes look really weird on dead people.
Yep.
And the way that sequence is shot with her in the plastic bag, and still kind of being able to see her eyes and the sunkenness around her eyes, it's so fucking scary. Nothing even needs, like... I just picture that and I get goosebumps. I just get grossed out. I get freaked out. Every time that happens when I'm watching the movie, and I watch it, like I said, a lot, probably once a month, that sequence comes up, I avert my eyes on purpose. I don't want to see it. I do not like it. That's one of those things that you and I, quote, say, bother. It bothers
me. That bothers me. Are you scared? No. Just, I don't like it.
I'm going to sleep with the light on. I'm not.
It's awfully dark in here. Open the door.
Me? Afraid? I don't have to take this. I'm going to go sleep in the truck.
I'm not a claustrophobic. Enclosed spaces just bother me.
Never even looked at another man before. But, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I really, really want to touch on.
Okay, I have the question for you here, because I know you are definitely in the same camp as me, so I'm only asking this for anyone else listening to this.
Okay.
But this movie ends, credits roll, we have the post-credits scene, which Marvel likes to take credit for this. No, post-credit scenes were a thing before Marvel started doing it every goddamn movie. Acknowledge Roman Reigns, acknowledge me. It was before then. We get a side shot of Bruce Campbell's face, and he says groovy. We know that's just a wink.
That's just a thanks for being a fan of the franchise.
Yeah. But there are folks out there that are like, no, this has to mean there's continuity between Ash's Evil Dead franchise and this franchise.
I'm telling you right now, there's not.
No.
And let me also say, Bruce Campbell himself went on record. So first of all, he gave us 3 seasons of Ash versus Evil Dead. They stretched it as far as they could.
And he straight up said, like, if it gets canceled, it's your guys' fault, and you weren't watching it.
You wanted us. You wanted me back. I'm back.
Here it is.
Recently, he did an interview talking about the new Evil Dead film that's coming out, Evil Dead Rise, and he said this one is heavy. This one is gory, scary, but it's going to hit you where you live. Which is the way that he said that. means to me that Ash is going to die. So he can say, stop fucking asking me to be in movies. I'm almost 70. I don't want to fucking run around with a chainsaw in my hand anymore. I want to gain some weight and sit on a fucking beach.
I mean, well, he did that in Burn Notice. He just keeps going, keeps coming back to this. I think since Army of Darkness, he's like, we're done. But he keeps finding ways to come back, even after the show. And he's like, I am not doing any more Ash bullshit again until we do
buddy,
this.
You want to come back and do some Ash stuff?
Yeah, you want to do the voiceover work and a console for this brand new video game we're doing? Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's different because you don't have to be screen, handsome. You can sit in a fucking in your kitchen and be like.
To me, it all keeps going back to like him saying like, I'm not doing anymore. Like, I'll believe it when I don't see it, but I just keep seeing it. It's kind of like I'm fine with it all. Just kind of like I'm in the same boat of like Kevin Smith talking about all these movies that he's going to be making or turning them into like miniseries. Like the Hit Somebody was supposed to be his next movie, and then somehow it turned into him doing the
Clerks 3.
Yeah, Clerks was supposed to be happening, and Clerks still is. Until something is out, I'm not saying it's happening. Even though he's like saying, "Well, filming is wrapped, yada yada yada." Show me something, and then I'll say it. But he's put so many different things. Like Mallrats 2 was supposed to be a thing. He's got everybody back for that, and then everything else that he's said he's going to do. He's going to make the Canadian horror trilogy, which he still hasn't made. Moose Jaws. So it's like that. I'll believe all that when I see it. And for Bruce Campbell, like, I'll believe you're done when I don't see any more of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's kind of hard to walk away from that paycheck, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I would be going back every time, too, no matter how irritating it was. Cover me in the blood. I'll do it one more time. What the hell?
Yep. And I'll tell you this. As happy as I would be to see him move on, I'm equally as happy when he puts the blue shirt on.
Yeah.
I'm kind of torn because I love Ash vs. Evil Dead. We're obviously not going to cover Ash vs. Evil Dead in a podcast because we would have to cover the entire 3-season run in an episode. But he's very much Army of Darkness Ash.
Oh, yeah. That
turned up to 11 in this series.
Yeah, that Ash is just taken over. The Ash from The Evil Dead and more or less Evil Dead 2 is gone. AOD Ash is reign supreme and just, has continued on. So that's just what we got. Now, although we won't talk about the series, we will spoil you a little bit early. Like, we are going to do one more episode on this shit. In 2 weeks, we're going to come back, and we've had enough time to actually get into it now. We're going to talk about playing this game, which encompasses everything but the 2013 movie as of this moment
so
in time.
far, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've given our Brown Panty Award. We've talked about a lot of the stuff in the film. Is there anything else you want to cover in the film before we move on to our next segments?
No, but I will just fine point that there is no continuity between the two fucking series. It was just a little wink nod. Thanks for being a fan. It's like the Delta being in the background for the shot. It's just there for us. Not everything has to be in continuity. Stop it. I mean, unless you're just doing it for the fucking fun of it, which is fine because we'll do that all day too. If we wanted to go down that road, we could. But it's not canon. It's fan stuff. If you're trying to make it canon, stop it. Just have fun with it.
It's just fan service, and that's all there is to it. Well, now that we're done gushing about this film...
That's a very appropriate term for this week's show.
It really is.
Because gushing is happening all over the screen. I would put this right next to the other Sam Raimi movie, Drag Me to Hell. Nobody knows how to close their fucking mouth when projectile vomit and blood and shit is spewing.
Gross.
But yeah, it's time to look at the true critique of this film. We've been talking for almost an hour, but we don't know what we're talking about. We're not qualified to handle this kind of thing.
Nope.
If you want qualified folks, you got to jump onto the interwebs and not type in 3B Video Deep Cut Podcast or 3B Video on YouTube. You type in Amazon.com review section and you drop that fucker all the way down to 1-star reviews.
Hey today.
We got a few on this bad boy, starting with
I bet.
Yeah, Marissa J. Bradshaw, so MJB on August 16th, 2020. 1 star. Never take a friend's recommendation for a movie.
Oof.
Well, hell, I had such high expectations for this movie. Instead, I got lousy, stupid, plotless, uninteresting, dull, not good horror.
Holy fuck, those are a lot of words I would not use to describe this movie.
Didn't like the characters. Love the first Evil Dead. I love horror movies, and the majority of them are just sill and senseless. The majority of them are sill and senseless. I'm guessing silly. She just fucked off the Y. Yeah, that's a
really harsh review right out of the gate. And I'm going to take that one to heart because I completely disagree.
Well, maybe you might Carrie here more on June 21st, 2021. She says 1 star. No. Did not like.
That's it. No, did not like.
No, did not like. This one also very short, but I love the name of this username. This is a fucking character I want in a movie, or we both create in our prospective UFC WWE games. This is from Colorado Ken. Colorado spelled with a K.
Oh boy.
Colorado Ken, August 26th, 2018. 1 star. Lame. Geesh. This movie sucked.
Geese.
Geesh. G-I-S-H. Geesh. Geese. Gis. Geesh.
That's all that Gish, this movie sucked?
Gish, this movie sucked.
I will never understand the true commitment to the hater to www.amazon.com and then type in Evil Dead and then go down to write a review.
He did more work getting to the site to type in his review than he did typing the actual review.
Yeah.
But I wanted to add it because I love that username, Colorado Can.
Gish.
Like, it sounds like an on-reporter type thing. Like, I wish we had a correspondent named Colorado Ken we could get our insight from.
Now let's talk to the eye in the sky with Colorado Ken.
See, that just fucking rolls off the tongue. This one, I feel, is honest. Okay. And I can get behind this one. This is from Chris on February 26, 2019. 1 star. Horrendous. Don't watch this movie. You won't sleep for days.
Okay. That's it?
That's it.
Well, okay, so he didn't elaborate, but so he's giving it a 1 star because it scared him.
Yeah, so that's a hidden that's a deep cut 5 star. Hidden in a 1 star.
You're rating a horror movie badly because it did what it was advertising it would do to you.
That's like a Siskel and Ebert review of being like, it's a bloody, disgusting mess with a bunch of nudity. Don't go see it.
I'm first in line. Like, it literally has... I remember some taglines, I think, after the second run of trailers came out, of it, like, the most horrifying film of the decade, maybe? Something like that. Like, like this movie fucking shocked people with how scary it really is.
I mean, were they really ready for it in 2013? I mean, we had the Evil Dead. We had The Walking Dead as a TV show, but it wasn't this splat sticky. And in terms of splat sticky being leaning a little bit more on the splat than the sticky.
Mm-hmm. And some urine. So
yeah, everyone is freaked out by piss. I don't know what that is. Something everybody does. All about the piss. Something everybody does, and then but no one wants to see. All right. This is a first I'm gonna do, and these are actually within the same, like, I don't have to scroll to get this done. I'm actually combining 2 people on this one. So from Albert Gerber, like the baby food, on February 8th, 2020, and Malachi Tollenborn.
Whoa, that's a sweet name. That dude builds barns.
Yeah. Is that a Talaborn brand?
That's
a top shelf
brand
whiskey.
barn. Try to say Talaborn brand barn.
Talaborn brand barn. And it's Talonborne. Talaborn.
Dear God,
And
it's
then-
Jason Bourne.
And his was on January 31st, 2020. So both of them, same exact 1-star review. 3 simple words. No digital copy.
And what year did you say those reviews came?
Both in 2020. A month apart, basically.
So if you bought the edition that I bought, it has a digital copy, but here's the fine print about those digital copies is they expire. Yeah, so which is another bullshit reason why digital copies are trash.
Yeah, once I finally jump off that bridge of like building my digital library just for the hell of it, I had to throw out so many papers that had digital copies in it just because they said they already had expired, which is weird because some of them still worked. Like I would still try it to see if they would work just because. Some of them actually still worked. Other ones did not. Like the Batman Nolan series, limited time to get the trilogy digital copies. Still, I was like, fuck it, I'm trying it. And they all worked. But I tried the Batman 66 TV series digital code that also had a time stamp on it. Did not work.
Huh.
Never know.
Yeah. Digital is trash.
Yep. I have a pretty cool library, but it's literally, I don't really count it. Like when Raj hooks me up with a digital code for a movie that he's got, I don't count it as part of my collection. It's like a guest star on my show.
Right.
It's not
right. If it's
official.
not on the shelf, you don't really own it, you know? Like that's just how it is.
You can't own the air. Who owns a tree? Who can own a rock? Only the Great Spirit.
Nice.
This one I don't entirely get. This is from Dennis on March 6, 2021. 1 star. Not the worst. A little strange.
All right. Okay, yeah, not the worst, but a little strange.
Yeah.
I guess.
And my last 1 star from Bex01. This is topical. July 30th, 2013. So this is
Like right after it came out.
1 star. And 3 people found this helpful before I go into this. Awful. 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 Even worse than the original. I was hoping for more scares, less gore, I guess. Oh well.
That was almost Onyx the Fortuitous.
I guess.
You almost-
Oh well. If you love excessive gore, you'll probably enjoy it. Just wasn't for me. Do you want me to try an Onyx rerun of that?
Sure. yeah.
Awful, awful, awful. Even worse than the original. I was hoping for more scares, less gore, I guess. But oh well. I don't know. If you love excessive gore, probably enjoy it. Wasn't for me.
I don't know. One day we got to have him as a guest. I would fucking lose my shit. I mean, he's not like 100% wrong. Like because if you're not a gore hound, you're probably not gonna like it. But I also feel like the scares are equal to the gore.
Yeah, they're not 2010 reliant on just blah, loud noise scare you. Blah, come out the corner and scare you. It's got more weight behind them, and even though the first Evil Dead, I guess, isn't really like ultra gory, I feel like Evil Dead is still pretty, like the whole franchise is still lumped in with pretty gory stuff. Even Army of Darkness, I would still throw in that camp, even though there's not really any in that at all. But I mean, every movie has fountains, gallons of blood used.
Yeah.
So it should just come with the territory.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of the franchise, I think by the time you get to the remake, it's pretty safe to assume that you're going to get what makes the franchise tick in the remake also. So
yeah. But everybody's surprised by something. Everybody To me, it's like a proctologist coming home from work for the first day going, man, I'm just looking at assholes all day.
Yep.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yep. Well, now that we're done with the Amazon 1-star reviews, Evil, what does that mean?
It's time to play the game.
It's time to play the game. Time to play the game.
It's all about the game and how you play it. Me is not here, you fucking idiot. Your sister's being raped in hell.
Oh, sister rape. Yes. If you're new here, welcome. And you're probably scratching your head wondering, what is the game? Well, allow me to let you know. The game is a deep cut in and of itself, where you have to pick a prop from the film that we are covering, but it cannot be a well-known prop. And since we're covering the Evil Dead franchise, minus Ash this time, don't say the Delta, don't say the cabin, I guess. Those are two fucking low-hanging fruit things.
The chainsaw. You can't say the chainsaw.
You can't say that. You gotta pick a deep cut, because, as Evil likes to say, you go deep.
Or you get the fuck out of my cabin.
So, I think I'll go first. I had a few that I was kind of toying around with, but I'm gonna omit one because based on our conversation, I think I know what you're gonna pick.
Oh boy! I need to know what you think I'm gonna pick before I say.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with my first impulse of what I want is the dead dog prop of Grandpa. My second that I feel like I need is the broken hypodermic needle. But what I thought you were going to pick, which is why I'm omitting it, is the back of the toilet, the tank lid that he bashes his girlfriend's fucking skull in with.
I can't go with the toilet tank lid because, sidebar personal story, I actually broke my toilet tank lid in my basement like 2 years ago, and while I was trying to repair something in the toilet, had it leaning sideways and it fell and broke, and actually cut my hand pretty good, that's when I learned, oh man, porcelain is fucking sharp. And I still don't have a toilet tank lid that fits this goddamn toilet because it's got
aluminum foil over it, right?
Yeah, I just put foil over it because I'm like, because that was my, at the time, temporary fix. I was like, I'll find a toilet. How hard can it be to find a toilet tank lid? I see people throwing toilets out on the side of the street all the time. Like during big trash days, like I can find a toilet tank lid. I'll just grab one off the street. I've grabbed like 3 tank lids. Not a damn one fits this fucking toilet. So the last thing I want is another goddamn toilet lid. So my prop is, because I feel it has just as useless of symbolism in this movie as the goddamn original movie, I'm taking now the wood-carved necklace of Mia.
Ah, excellent. I thought maybe you would take the bag of heroin.
What kind of person do you think I am?
Got to get that to Nordberg.
You have to give me a couple of days on that one.
Oh, man. That's an excellent prop. And I should have seen that coming, because you and I have had many a conversation of the uselessness of the necklace.
It is a weird-ass necklace that they try to explain a little bit more in this one, but both of them are just pretty much there just to be there, and they're only there to like remind somebody of their humanity. And it's funny in both instances. This necklace is the one that does it. It's like, oh, they went and made it a wood carved one, which I guess is more fitting for this edition of the film than the original one, which I like that they kept having that necklace like dropped in the shape of a skull with the chain.
Yep.
But I was like, that goddamn fucking magnifying glass lens necklace was supposed to be how they got rid of the book originally, but they scrapped that. But somehow that necklace design has made its way to 2013.
So if you're listening and you have your very own deep cut prop, you can let us know. I believe you can comment on the podcast via Spotify, but if you're not, listening to us via podcast apps and you're listening to us through our Patreon, you can comment on the podcast on our Patreon. Let us know what prop you would pick. You can find us on YouTube at 3B Video. You can join our Discord server, Buddies Forever, which has links in all of our YouTube videos, and you can let us know the prop that you pick for each and every podcast episode that we do, because we play this game every 2 weeks. It's just how we like to end our Deep Cut podcast.
It's entirely true. Used to be a way to kill time, and now it's just a way to wrap up a show. And it's always fun to, if you're meeting a celebrity, I don't know what to ask them. Play the prop game with them. Fuck it. We've done it.
Yes.
You do it.
Yes. So, on that note, I suppose we should probably get going, because after all, there's a lot of movies out there, and somebody's got to watch them. So why not us? Right?
Raj, kiss me, you dirty cunt.